All right, so hey everyone, welcome back to the stream. Today we're going to be diving into Reactor again, and we're going to be looking at creating a glitchy patch in Reactor. So we're going to start off by first opening up our version of Reactor, and we're going to build out our patch. So if it's your first time joining, I just want to welcome you to the stream, and I'm going to be showing you music producers and sound designers how to build a simple glitchy sequencer in Reactor in just a few minutes. So first of all, when you open up Reactor, um, this is perfect for if you want unpredictable, um, evolving, evolving patterns in your tracks. And stick around by the end, and we'll have a playable patch that we can use and experiment with, mint with. Let's dive right in. So when we start off, we're gonna be greeted with three different sections in Reactor. One is the play section, one is the patch section, one is the build section. Today we're gonna dive into the build section because it gives us the most flexibility in building on our patches, and all the way down to the primary level, which is a little bit more complex. But today we're gonna be looking at blocks, and we're gonna first grab our basic modules that we're gonna need. We're going to go into utility, and we're going to need a note in module. That's the first module, and this will trigger our sounds via MIDI. So when we press a note on our keyboard, it'll be able to trigger a sound for us. And next, we're going to need an LFO and envelopes. So we're going to go into the bento box collection. We're going to pull out an LFO, and we're going to pull out envelope. So LFO is a low frequency oscillator, and LFO and envelope is ADSR control. This will allow us to modulate our sound. We're gonna need a clock as well, and that's gonna drive our sequencer. So we're gonna add in one more thing here, and that's gonna be an 8-step sequencer. And these are gonna be completing our basic setup for our patch. So we added a sequencer, we added a clock, we added an LFO, and we added an ADSR filter. And finally, we're going to be adding, we added an ADSR control, and now we're going to be adding a filter. And this is going to filter our sound. And we also need one of the most important things, which is our sound generation device. That's going to be a oscillator. So we're going to bring in an oscillator from the bento box collection. Just bring in an oscillator for us to use. And once we have an oscillator, we can get to connecting things up, tweaking the filters, and we'll have something that we can say is a built-up patch. So I'm going to connect up our first ones. So we're going to connect the gate, going to connect the pitch. This actually goes to our 8-step. Then we're going to connect our filter. It's going to be a little bit quick in this process just to get the connection started. And then we're going to connect up our last piece, which is going to be our filter, just to get some sound. Turn down our volume. Right now we are generating some sound. Gonna connect our gate control. Gonna organize our panel so that everything is sitting in the right position. And then we will play some notes. Set it on track. Gate control. We're going to play our sequencer. We got some pitch coming out. Okay, we got some pitch, so that's a good thing. So now we're going to connect our filter, our LFO, and we'll add that to our oscillator. for some movement. Going to turn on the modulation depth of our oscillator. Actually, we're going to change the sound to a sawtooth. So our filter is working. Our clock is working. Oh, there we go. So let's turn this down. We're getting a pure sine wave because we've connected to the sine. So let's go into a saw. So you're never going to get the same thing twice. So we're going to have to tweak our sound. Okay, so we've got some sound coming out of our oscillator, and now we're going to add in our LFO. We've already added that in. This is going to be enhancing our sound, and let's connect this actually to our filter. So I'm going to reconnect that to our filter. Going to turn it back on. So it's actually controlling our filter and our oscillator at the same time, doing a double job. Okay, so we got some sound. Let's tweak the clock rate and the modulation depth. Okay, so next we're going to add a sample and hold, and this is going to be a module that will connect to modulate the pitch randomly. So let's add a sample and hold. So we'll bring that in. So let's connect this to modulate our pitch. Okay, so now we got that modulating our pitch randomly. Then we can modulate the sample and hold. So there we have it, pretty much a sound with a random modulating pitch. We've built that using an A-step sequencer, an LFO, a sample and hold oscillator, and a filter. We actually don't need this envelope, so I'm going to be removing it. We can add a little glide. We can also add some effects. So I'm just going to add one effect to it. Like some reverb, just for effect. So you can do some pretty crazy things with this. So there you have it, a quick and dirty glitchy sequencer and reactor. You can take this further by adding more modulation, effects, or even using different filters or oscillators to make this. If you enjoyed this deep dive into sound design with Reactor, be sure to check out my free Reactor Sound Design Challenge. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next for another episode. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.